People who are good pet owners love their pets to death, and honestly, they should. Pets are amazing companions, part of our family, inseparable from us in some cases. Dogs especially are incredibly loyal. If none of your human friends would be willing to catch a bullet for you, I'm 100% sure that your pet dog would. That's why dog owners feel their pets as parts of the family and nothing less. And when one member of the family is lost, what do you feel? How would you feel as well if they came back after many years? Today we're going to be bringing you touching stories of once lost pet dogs who were reunited with their owners. Number 10. Cross Country. Rocky is a boxer that is owned by the Wazzle family from Mesa, Arizona. One day in 2013, for no apparent reason, Rocky suddenly bolted out of the Wazzle family home. The family thought nothing of it at first, thinking that he would be back in a couple of hours. The hours went by and then the next day, but still no sign of Rocky. The family tried everything to locate their dog, but to no success. They were comforted by the fact that he was microchipped, so surely he would be back home soon. But the days turned into weeks into months, and still nothing. A year has passed and they figured that something bad must have happened to him, and he wouldn't be able to make it back home. That is until 2 years after Rocky's disappearance, when the family received a call from an animal clinic in Indiana, which is 1,800 miles away. Rocky had somehow managed 1,800 miles, crossing state lines, probably surviving on his own, and ended up getting picked up by an animal clinic in Indiana. It took the cooperation of a few volunteers from the Highway Heroes Rescue Transport and 3 days of travel time, but Rocky was finally back with his loving family after 2 long years. Number 9. The Great Dog Napping. The next entry on our list might not do much to strengthen your trust in strangers, but it will prove that no matter how much time has passed, it's still possible to recover your beloved pet. On a balmy afternoon in West Austin, Texas, 3-year-old Marie was out on the porch holding her brand new poodle puppy Frenchie. Her mother, who was careful to show Marie how to handle the pup, had stepped inside for no more than 2 minutes when she heard Marie crying. She then ran out and listened as her daughter told her that a strange man had ran up to the porch, plucked Frenchie right out of her hands, and drove away with the pup inside. The story seemed ripped straight right out of a dog abduction movie, if there ever is one. Nevertheless, the family searched for Frenchie for weeks, finally conceding that the pup was gone. Then 2 years later, Marie's godmother was driving past a house in the next neighborhood over when she spotted a poodle tied up to a tree. Trusting her instinct, she untied the dog and took him back to Marie, who knew instantly that it was Frenchie. Later that day, the vet confirmed it was in fact her long-lost pup. How exactly they confirmed the dog was Frenchie? I don't know. But hey, a happy ending is a happy ending. Number 8. Gone Baby Girl. No, this isn't a story of some dog who faked her own death to take revenge on her owner. No, it just so happened that the dog's name in this story is Baby Girl, a labradoodle owned by David Mills. David, you see, was driving along one day with Baby Girl when the two of them were involved in a horrific car crash. David suffered from a broken neck and was in critical condition when he arrived at the hospital. Baby Girl, on the other hand, was gone. Finding her proved difficult. Her owner is in the hospital and his family is quite understandably worried of him and not the dog. But one person was determined to find her. That being David's neighbor, Angel Michaels. She helped setting up traps and trail cameras to find Baby Girl. For months, Michaels caught glimpses of the lost dog but was never able to catch her. That is until one morning, 63 days after the accident, Michaels found Baby Girl in one of the traps she had left out. Though she was in poor condition when she was caught, she's since recovered fully back with her family. Number 7. Finding ZOEY. ZOEY is a black and tan mutt mix adopted by Diana, a resident at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City. She decided to adopt her because she felt she needed a companion, and also as a way to relieve her stress from her residency. The two bonded from the get-go and soon developed a loving relationship. But one day, while ZOEY was being walked by Diana's father in Central Park, she got spooked by an approaching dog and pulled her collar and darted away. Diana and her family's hunt for ZOEY began immediately, including plastering thousands of lost dog posters all over Manhattan, even several Craigslist ads. After hundreds of prank calls and false leads, Diana finally received the call she was waiting for. A lovely couple had recovered ZOEY limping along in Riverside Park not far from the George Washington Bridge. They put a scarf around her neck to guide her along, and on their way home stumbled across Diana's poster. The rest, as they say, is history. Number 6. Found through Facebook. Silver Labs are very rare dogs. That's why when Mark Critchbaum lost her Silver Lab puppy Lucy, he was heartbroken. Lucy was playing with Mike's sister's boxer, Plank, in Mike's farm while Mike was repairing a sawmill. The two dogs wandered off to a neighbor's yard unbeknownst to Mark when he suddenly heard gunshots. Plank came sprinting back home terrified, but Lucy was nowhere to be seen. Mark spent many days and walked many miles searching for Lucy but came up empty. As the days turned into weeks, Critchbaum made missing posters, putting up the signs for miles and distributing them to the area animal shelters and veterinarians. He posted photo after photo of Lucy on Facebook, hoping someone might recognize her. Many reached back and shared his posts, but no one had seen Lucy. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, veterinary technician Lauren Prater was on a camping trip near Mark's farm. She saw the frightened Silver Lab on the side of the road and called it to enter her car, which she did. She spent many hours searching for the owner of the lab, but decided to take Lucy home with her as she couldn't find her owner. At last, after many months of searching, she decided to look on Facebook to see if there was anybody who was looking for a lost dog. She found Mark's ad and was positive she was Lucy's owner. The two got in touch and Lucy and Mike were back together in no time. Number 5. Alone in the Wild. Another pup, an Australian cattle dog named Sophie, went on a death-defying odyssey of her own, one that took her from the shark-infested waters off the coast of Queensland, Australia, to a remote island where she survived for 4 months by hunting goats and evading predators. How did she get here, though, you ask? Sophie was enjoying a day out on the boat with her family when she fell overboard into choppy waters and disappeared. Her owner spent the rest of the day searching for her, but eventually came to believe that the wake of the boat had overpowered their pup. It turns out that Sophie was quite a prodigious swimmer, though, and had paddled 5 miles to St. Bees Island. Nearly half a year later, local rangers captured her, and she was reunited with her family, who had reached out to the rangers after hearing the story in the news. Number 4. Flying home first class. 4 years is a long time for a pet to go missing. Personally, I would have probably moved on and adopted another pet, while still really missing the other one. But this story is proof that no matter how long pets and their owners are apart, the bond will never be broken. Sam, a Yorkshire Terrier, was owned by the Lambert family from Louisiana. Sam was small, so he can easily get through tiny gaps and holes, and that's what he did just one day. And he suddenly disappeared from their yard. Sam was a gift to the Lamberts' daughter Carissa when she turned 10. Of course, she was devastated over the loss of her pet. All search efforts were in vain, and in the end the family just had to give up. But 4 years later, they received news that they weren't expecting. Sam was found by an animal control officer in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He was identified due to the microchip he was tagged with. He was straggly and weighed only 6 pounds, but he was alive. As soon as the Lamberts were informed that Sam was found, travel arrangements were immediately made. United Airlines flew Sam first class to be back home with his family 4 years after he was lost. Number 3. 7 years apart. Linda Gow was looking to adopt a pet when she chanced upon a Craigslist ad who was giving a Boston Terrier away. She answered the ad and claimed the dog for herself. Of course, being a responsible pet owner that she was, she took her new dog to the vet for a checkup and to have her microchipped. To her surprise, she already had a microchip in her, and she already belonged to a family prior to the one she adopted her from. Apparently, 7 years prior to being adopted by Linda, Lola dug a hole under the fence and escaped from the family's yard. Julia Arango and her daughter, Lola's original owners, were stunned when they received a call from the veterinarian informing them that Lola was alive and well. Linda Gow, being the kind person that she is, didn't hesitate to turn Lola back over to her previous guardians. Now it's time for today's best pick. Today's pick isn't a sad story, but a rather funny one actually, which is a welcome change. It's funny because the dog wasn't actually lost. Find out more next with number 2. Holly Pickup. Of course, there are more humorous renditions of lost and found stories, including that of Holly, so named because she was adopted over Christmas. One spring day while her family was doing yard work, Holly, a friendly black lab, set out to roam the wooded acres behind her house, which had become one of her favorite pastimes over the past 5 years. While she was at the edge of the property, a man drove by in a pickup truck and, assuming she had wandered from home, picked Holly up and put her in his car with the intention of either rescuing her or returning her to her owners. Once he got there and inspected her collar, however, he realized that the address on her tags was in fact the location where he had picked her up. Both Holly and her chauffeur returned with their tails between their legs later that day. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Number 1. The 12-Year Journey. Duchess, the fox terrier, squeezed out the door at her owner's house in Orlando one day in February 2007 and did not return. Her devastated owner, Catherine Strang, made lost dog signs and took daily trips to the local shelter for months, desperate to find her. Finally, one day, she finally got the call she was waiting for. Her Duchess was finally found. But this call happened 12 years after her disappearance. A man found the dog under his shed in the Pittsburgh area, almost 1,000 miles from Orlando. He took the shivering animal to a shelter, Humane Animal Rescue, and there a scan of Duchess's microchip linked her to Strang, who had since moved to Boca Raton in Florida. No one knew how Duchess was able to survive 12 years alone. They also don't know how she got all the way to Pittsburgh. Those details, however, aren't important to Strang. She's just happy that Duchess is alive and well and home. She did mention Duchess needed a nail trim, though. Got any more touching pet reunion stories? Let us know down in the comments down below. Also, feel free to check out the channel's other amazing videos. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later, everybody.